Welcome, welcome.
Welcome to the Winter Garden Challenge day number 3. And we're excited to have you on here with us. Again, we got an awesome group here already. So cool to see you all in the chat. And we pushed a little update, so hopefully it makes it easier to get on the chat on your mobile. Let us know in the chat if you are on your phone and it's easier to type in the chat, because hopefully that's working. Anyways, wanted to give you a quick welcome once again to the challenge. We're excited. Tonight, we're going to be talking about laying out your garden. We've done choosing what to grow. We've done timing your winter plantings, fall plantings, right? And tonight, we're going to get into some pretty cool stuff here. So I'm going to pull up some slides here because we're going to dive right in. All right, much better. Some people are saying good. All right, so Winter Garden Challenge day number 3, laying out your winter garden. Quick reminder that we are doing free giveaways, and tonight our giveaway is our biggest giveaway of the entire event, and that is to win lifetime access to Seed Time. Lifetime unlimited level access to the calendars, task list journal, classroom, future releases, and more. We're going to dive into it a little bit more tonight, and someone who sticks with us to the end is going to win lifetime access. So we'll let you know how you can enter that when we get to that.
So you have all won free lifetime access to Seed Time, but we're talking about our unlimited account.
Some special, all the bells and whistles.
With all the bells and whistles.
Yes.
That is not for free, except for this one person.
Yeah, except for this one person. Someone here is going to win. Yeah. So if you have not yet, go grab your free Seed Time account, because there's so much you can do. Actually, more today than even yesterday, because we've got a cool announcement coming up. This is just a little teaser.
You can do a lot with the free account, and don't underestimate it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Otherwise, quick overview of the sessions. We are on day number 3 here, like we just did the quick recap at the very beginning. Choosing what to grow, timing. We're now taking what we're building off of what you've already done, right? So you've made your list. Have you guys been doing the homework? Let us know in the chat if you've done the homework. So you made your list, right? Then you added those crops to your calendar to figure out when you're going to seed them. You might have had to make some little adjustments. And then the next step here is to take those crops that are in your calendar to lay them out in a garden in a visual layout. So that's what we're going to be diving into. Quick reminder, replays and resources are on the challenge dashboard. You should be watching this on the challenge dashboard, but there may be some people watching on YouTube as well. So seedtime.us/challenge, that's where you get all the replays, where we post the special feature content each day. And so bookmark that, because you want to just be coming back to that over and over to catch up on things that you might have missed. Also, quick reminder that we are running a special sale in the Seed Time store. So you can get up to 20% off of all seed packets, and there are more discounts on natural soil health and protection methods. We're going to be talking about more of those things as we go along as well. And a little plug that if you want to get your questions answered during this event, hey, we encourage you to come join the VIP session. We had a great session today. We're having another one tomorrow. And this is where you can actually get your question answered, because I know in the chat here we get so many questions and we can't answer them all. But this just puts you up to the top of the list. And we have a special session just for our VIPs. And as with our last 2 nights, we want to give a special little shout out to Terry, who went through our last Winter Garden Challenge, and on January 23 of this year was so excited that he was going to have to thin his radishes and carrots and bok choy. I'm so excited they haven't frozen, as we have dropped down into the single digits. Can you imagine? This is just to give you a little glimpse of what can happen for you. So even if you live in an area that drops down into the single digits, you could have amazing little crops growing out in your backyard, in your raised beds. And we see many people in here, zone 9, some of those higher zones, levels where you don't deal with frost as much. And the cool thing is that you can do so much more, because you can not only do the cool weather crops that we've been talking about, but in some of those zones, you may actually be able to be putting in your summer crops.
And some of there's some tricks to winter gardening.
Yep.
That's the main reason we're doing this. In some of those warmer zones, you don't hardly need to even worry about the tricks. You
Yep.
can just do it.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I'm going to invite our colleague, awesome farmer, amazing grower, Luke Hammond, to come on.
I know I've kind of been awkwardly like sitting here already in the background. It's like I came in a little bit too soon, and everyone's like, "Who's that guy?"
Oh, I didn't even notice. Sorry,
I
my
know,
slides were up
it's-
and I couldn't see.
I didn't
Sorry,
say anything, but I do have to speak to. It's so weird. What's the deal with the growing zones with the higher numerical number but the lower latitude? That just freaks my brain out, right? You just spoke to it, but hey,
I know,
it is.
I know. It's like the high, the low. You start getting weird.
What a chaotic mess. Oh, well, my brain's messed up, as everyone knows. Well, hey, I want to do a quick shout out to our sponsors, again, as we do every night. But Farmer's Friend, thank you so much. For those who are looking for crop protection, they do everything from tunnels to kind of their keynote product called the Quick Cut Greens Harvester for market gardeners out there. Most people are familiar. Check out the resources and the encouragement that they offer just through the Good Life series. If you're interested about learning more about market growing, they do a bunch of testimonials there. It's super, super cool. As well, Acres USA. Acres is one of the main publications for those that are growing on small acreage. They have a whole breadth of knowledge and books and resources, of which you can purchase in the Seed Time store under our resources tab. And then Bug Hut, which we mentioned yesterday and the day before. Bug Hut is a soil amendment company focusing on making it easy for gardeners with several innovative products that just tell you what they are, like enhance or boost or de-stress. I've been using those products in my garden and I've seen some great success with them, and I know you will too. But tonight I wanted to talk about Homesteading Family. For those who are familiar, Homesteading Family is Josh and Carolyn Thomas. They are homesteaders and educators, and they are running a special for you guys. So if you are interested in the Homestead Kitchen magazine, which is just a very well polished magazine, they are offering this for $1, folks, a 3-month supply for $1. So if you want to jump into getting a 3-month supply of these magazines for $1, I would highly encourage you to do that for $1. Jump over to seedtime.us/sponsors and grab your Homestead Kitchen. They have recipes, culinary ideas, preserving techniques, all kinds of really cool things in that physical hard copy magazine that mails to your door. So make sure you check that out. Again, 3 months for $1. You can't beat that deal. Buy that magazine right now. It's $1, folks. That's 99 cents plus $1. Come on. Can I get a woot woot in the chat?
Woo!
Woot woot.
Yeah.
With that, should we do a giveaway before we get going, or should we go ahead and just silence distractions? What do we want to do?
Yeah, I would
Get
say
to it?
let's
Give it later. We got a lot of giveaways.
Yeah, we got a lot of giveaways. Which giveaway are you thinking about?
I'm thinking a free Sproutlet.
Free Sproutlet. Okay, let's do it. You guys ready? I see a lot of woots and whoops, but that's going to be hard to get people to spell. So what?
Sprout. Type in Sprout in the chat for a chance to win a free Sproutlet.
Sprout. Here we go.
S-P.
While you are doing that, yes, while you are doing that, I am going to use this time to say, hey, silence your distractions. Go turn off your phone. It's a good reminder again to us to make sure our phones are off. Otherwise, they're going to start ringing or something. Same with, Facebook. At the end of the day, we want you to get the most out of this challenge. So if you're here with us live, this is a great time to just really tune in and get the most out of the session. We're going to be walking you through step-by-step laying out your garden plan. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we got some special fun surprises coming up here as well soon. So, okay, we got a lot of sprouts in here. I'm going
do
to
do it. And again, congratulations last night to Donna Meredith for winning our Sproutlet yesterday evening. And tonight it's going to be.
Here we go. The winner is
Clary Smith.
Clary Smith. It always goes longer than I think it will.
I know. Awesome.
Clary Smith. Clary, we're writing your name down, but please send us an email to support@seedtime.us, support@seedtime.us to claim that. And we will get that special sproutlet to you. Love it.
Cool. And for those who don't know, our speaker tonight, our guest speakers, the one, the only father-son duo, Paul and Edwin.
Thanks, Luke. Fun stuff. We have such an awesome team. We'll introduce you a little bit more to them in a little bit later on here.
Yeah.
So we're going to dive into mapping out your garden space tonight. And the very first thing that we want to do, now's the time for your pen and paper. Pull that out. It's time to get ready to get to business here. So the first thing that you want to do is, we recognize that some of you already have your garden place already picked out. Like, you know where your garden is. Maybe you have your garden beds in already. That being said, some of you may not have a garden area
spot
figured
chosen.
out. All right. So we're going to start just at the basics here. The very first thing is, you want to look for areas that get the most sun, especially in the winter.
Especially in the winter.
Yes. Pretty much any time of the year, you want to look for areas that get the most sun, but especially in the winter. And
yeah, and keeping in mind that the areas that get the most sun in the winter might be a little bit different from the summer because of shadows.
Yeah.
Shadows will be much longer. And so just because an area has full sun now doesn't necessarily mean it will then.
Right, exactly. And the sun's going to be lower in the sky in the winter. It's going to be more, you want to look at those south-facing parts of your house, slopes. Unless you're in the southern hemisphere, then it's going to be opposite. But also, most crops do best with 6 to 8 hours of full sun. I guess I got ahead of myself. South-facing slopes, walls will stay warmer in the winter. They catch more of that sunlight. And in hot zones like southern Florida, you may want to actually look for the cooler climate. So this is something for those of you that are in those zones 9, 10, etc. You may still be getting warm enough, unless you're living right next to the ocean and things are buffered more for you or whatever, but you may actually want to look for those cooler spots to grow some of these cooler crops. All right. The second thing here, so the first is sun, but the second here is, you want to consider protection from the wind. So if at all possible, try and find a place that's number 1, sunny, and number 2, protected from the wind. And that may be hard because your wind protections may be casting shade as well, right?
I'd say the idea of protecting from wind is probably one of the more underestimated ideas for protection.
Yeah.
In the wintertime.
Yep.
But that's one of the more critical things, probably even more than protection from the cold. Protection from the wind is really important.
Yep.
Because oftentimes the wind just dries out your crops. And
yes. Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to dive into that more on day number 5 when we jump into protection. So a whole lot more coming on that. You want to understand your microclimates. You want to, and that's part of figuring out the most sun, wind protection, etc. Frost pockets, that's where if you live in a hilly environment down in the valley, it will often be a frost pocket. It's going to get colder. The hilltops often stay a little warmer, actually. So it's kind of an interesting thing, because if you think of a mountain, it gets colder the higher you go up.
right.
But when it's just the rolling hills and it's just a couple hundred feet of elevation, it will actually form frost pockets down at the bottom. And then your orientation, right? Again, that's south facing. And you can create your own microclimates, which is what we're going to get into when we're going to talk about protection methods and cold frames and quick hoops and row covers and all that kind of stuff coming up day 5. So we're not going to dive into all of that tonight. We just want to give you some context when it comes to trying to figure out, where am I actually going to put my garden? If you already have a garden space staked out and you're already growing in that spot, hey, that's fine too. Just keep in mind and try and see, hey, is it really the best spot? Because maybe you want to move it or something along those lines.
And also just keep in mind, almost every garden spot has its advantages and its disadvantages, and we've got to learn to live with the disadvantages. That,
yeah,
it's hard to get everything lined up so that you only have advantages.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't usually work in real life.
Now, the good news is that veggies grown for their leaves and roots, which if you remember our little rhyme, winter leaves and roots versus summer seeds and fruits, right? The good news is that those winter crops can tolerate shade better than your summer crops. And that's good because you usually have less light. The daylight hours are shorter. But they can tolerate shade a little bit best. So beets, carrots, garlic, potatoes, radishes, onions, Asian greens, broccoli, cabbage, collards, kale, lettuce, spinach, Swiss chard, etc. If you are dealing with more shaded areas, those are the crops you're going to want to push into there.
These are all basically the cool season crops too.
Yes, exactly. And you still want to get them the most light possible, again, with a kind of caveat if you're down in southern Florida where it's still pretty hot in the middle of the summer, in the middle of the winter. All righty. So map out your garden space. What we encourage you to do is actually map it out visually. Map out your garden space. We're going to show you how you can do that in Seed Time shortly. Lay out your garden beds. Lay them out, draw them out. We suggest 30-inch wide beds. This is if you're growing in the ground and you're going to do beds in ground beds. We suggest 30 inches wide.
And I think we should touch on that just a second. In-ground beds are really better for winter growing than raised wooden sided beds or pots or anything like that. Anything up above the ground is going to freeze faster and longer and harder than growing in the ground. So, if you're choosing where to grow in the winter, just keep that in mind.
Yeah. The reason why we suggest 30-inch wide beds is that they're easy to step or reach across. They're a nice width for that. There are tools specifically made and designed for 30-inch wide beds, especially when you get up into the farmers market market farming world. That being said, a lot of these tools are really awesome for the home garden. So you can use them and really be more efficient as well. And then 12 to 18-inch aisles between your beds. If you can do 18, much nicer. If you're really maximizing your space, 12, you can get by with 12-inch aisles. It is quite a bit smaller for stepping. You just kind of go single file there. Here's an example. And by the way, when we recommend these beds, this is if you're putting in new beds or if you want to adjust or change your garden. We recognize there are all kinds of beds out there, raised beds, 4x8 beds, 4x4 beds. It's not like one bed is better than all the rest. It's just we want to give you suggestions that can help if you are starting out from scratch, especially, or if you want to make some adjustments to make it a little easier on you. So here's an example plug and play garden plan. This is a garden plan that we grew ourselves, and we grew over $1,000 of fresh food just through the spring, summer, barely into the fall. We stopped keeping track after a while.
We did keep growing right through the winter, but we didn't keep track.
Didn't keep track of it anymore.
Yeah.
But you can see here, so it's got 30-inch wide beds here, and then foot aisles in between, and these are 20 feet long. So it's just a simple example bed garden. You could take this, and we will try and get these slides available for you for those who are asking, so you'll be able to just take it and use it if you want to, frankly. So let's talk very briefly here about a simple crop rotation plan, because when it comes to laying out your garden and choosing where you're going to grow things, this is one of the things that many people wonder about or have questions about is crop rotation. Do I need to rotate my crops? What are the benefits for it? And right now, you're probably going from a spring-summer garden to a fall-winter garden. So you probably have a bunch of stuff already in your garden. So it's not as much starting from scratch. So some of these principles you may or may not apply going into this fall season, but it's something that you could potentially apply, the next year on the other side as well. But what are some reasons to rotate your crops? We have number one here, plants give and take from the soil in different ways. So different plants are pulling different nutrients and actually giving back to the soil as well in different ways. There's a whole system when you get into soil health. These plants' roots have exudates that release into the soil. They're promoting microbial life and different types of microbial life in the soil. Some are heavier feeders, some are lighter feeders on those nutrients in your soil. There's it can be helpful with insect and disease control. This is especially when you get to larger scales where you have more area you can move your crops around. But a lot of insects and diseases begin in the soil or are fostered. They carry over in the soil.
Part of the life cycle of the insect is in the soil, and as a grub or something else, and then they come up
and a lot of those are specific to, like, you're going to get certain diseases on your lettuce that you're not going to get on your tomatoes, right? So both insects and diseases tend to kind of go for certain families of crops, right? So crop rotating can help with that diversity. Crops can affect the next crop grown, and legumes leave nitrogen in the soil, which is really awesome as well. There is, maybe we should just touch on it very quickly here right now, and that is, what about companion planting? Like, do you have to rotate your crops if you're companion planting? Do you have to rotate your crops at all?
I would, because if you're companion planting, you're still probably only having 2 or 3 or 4 crops together in the same bed. And I still think there would be value in rotating them around, but you're reducing your need for it. There's a principle of soil health, a principle of diversity, that the more different kinds of plants you can be growing in an area, the healthier the soil is going to be. You can get that diversity by planting them together, as in companion cropping. And you can also get that diversity by planting them in rotation, one after the other.
Yep.
So it's just different approaches for getting the diversity that you need for good, healthy soil.
So we're going to fly through this. We'll give you these slides. Unfortunately, we don't have time to go into detail when it comes to crop rotation, but we do just want to give you a very simple rotation plan that you could use in your garden. For example, here, what you want to do is you want to split up your crops by families. So that's why you'll see these families down here. And then you want to space them out. Like, you'll notice that we have brassicas here, but we also have brassicas over here, right? So they're kind of split out by families, but sometimes there's a family that is the same family over in this group as over in this group. But what happens is, think of this as a garden bed. My little square here. Can you see that on the screen? Yeah. So think of this as the garden bed. The legumes are growing in this garden bed this year. What's going to happen is the next year, the leaves and flowers are going to follow this arrow, and they're going to grow in this same garden bed that the legumes used to be growing in. And the legumes are going to move over to this bed that the roots were growing in the previous year. Okay. So this is a rotation. They're going to rotate around, boom, 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 boom. And so there's always going to be a year in between, the brassicas grow, because there's going to be the fruits and grains that come, etc. Another way to look at this is crop rotation by year here. So you've got legumes, roots, fruits, leaves. Year number 2, leaves, legumes, roots, fruits. You're going to watch them. So the leaves follow the legumes there. And I'm going to jump through these so you can see the full slide. Sorry, they didn't go in order here. There we go. So you can see every single year, it just kind of shifts over one, shifts over one, shifts over one. Again, I'm so sorry, we don't have more time to dive into that in more depth. But once again, we're going to get you these slides so you can look in and analyze it a little bit more if you want to. And that's just showing that it goes back up to year 1 after it ends there. So let's talk about now figuring out how much to grow. How much are you going to grow for your garden? And this is a big question and a big topic. So we're going to try and make this simple. And we should also say that this is kind of for those who want to go a little bit more advanced, because there's a couple ways that you can do this. There's 2 ways to view it. You can look at the available space you have and fill it up, which is what a lot of home gardeners are going to do. I feel like, if you got 2 raised beds, you can just fill it up with space, right? Because you're just going to eat all the food that comes off of those 2 raised beds. However, if you have more space and you have a desire to grow a certain amount for yourself, then you may want to look at the amount you want to eat each week and multiply it by the harvest window in weeks, or how long you want to be growing that crop, or how long you want, or how much of that crop you want to store later.
Yeah. I mean, just simply, for example, you can say, you know, how much lettuce does our family eat every week?
Yeah.
We need 2 heads. Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to grow so that you get 2 heads of lettuce every week.
Yeah. And then you want to calculate your row space to produce the desired result. And the cool thing is that we have a little worksheet to help you calculate this. Some of you have already seen this. You've been jumping ahead in the worksheet, but I'm going to jump on over and show you real quick in the worksheet here.
Susan says, don't grow 2 packets of beet seeds if you are a family of 2.
Yes. So quick reminder, this worksheet is down on the bottom right of your Seed Time account. It's on the bottom right of the dashboard where you're watching live, hopefully. So you just click the little toolbox there. It's going to pop up. If you've been following along with the homework, you've been marking up. You have your list of crops that you've chosen to grow. You've been marking off which seeds you need to order, which seeds you have ordered. You've added them to your calendar. You've checked all those off. So the next section here is the number of plants I want to grow. Once again, you can skip over that if you're just going to kind of fill your space and you don't really care about it. Hey, totally, that makes sense. You don't necessarily need to do it. However, for those who want to do a little more in-depth dive, we have put together a food growing calculator. And if you switch over to the growing calculator, it's going to take that same list of crops, and based on the number of people you put into the edit crop list. So if you open the edit crop list, there's the number of adults, number of children. So if I was going to do it 2 adults, a child is counted as 1/2 of an adult. So in my case, I have 3 kids, but one of them is only 1 year old. So they're not eating very much, right? So I might put in 2 adults and 2 kids. Click save. It's going to update the totals here. And what this does is it pulls, you can actually down at the very bottom here, you can click on data sources for the calendar, and you can see all of the sources that we have pulled information from to get these numbers that you have here. And here's the caveat. Everybody eats differently. So it's going to give you an amount to grow that's kind of average for your whatever number of people you have for an entire year. Okay. So if you're just thinking about the winter garden, you may want to cut this in half. You may want to cut it in a quarter because you could grow those same crops in another season the next year. So here's how you do that. In here, every single one of these numbers with a little green underline can be edited. So if I was like, oh, we don't eat very many beets, we only need 5 pounds of beets, and we're not going to store any of them. I can change it to 5. I can set the storage to 0. It's going to update my feet of row dash bed that I need. If I put these beets, so this column here is how many feet distance of row of this crop do I need? If I'm growing in a bed that has 3 rows of beets in it, and you'll get to see this visually in a little bit, I can change the number of rows here to 3, and it's going to tell me how much bed feet I need. Okay, so I only need 2 bed feet. But what's even cooler is if you come over here, there's the average harvest number of pounds for a 100-foot row. Again, this is editable. If you know that you get a larger harvest on average, if you know some of this stuff just from your own growing habits, you can edit it. And then there's the plant spacing here, and it will tell you the total number of plants that you would need to grow approximately 5 pounds of beets, right? So you come down your planning worksheet here with the growing calculator, and you just start punching in. Okay, we're not going to store any broccoli, and we're going to do 20 pounds of broccoli. And our broccoli, we do 2 rows in our 30-inch bed. So I want my bed feet. So that's 13 feet of bed and 18 plants. Okay, perfect. So my 20 pounds, grow my 18 plants. Yeah.
If people wanted to, we have recommendations on how many, if you're growing in a 30-inch bed or any size bed,
yeah,
we have recommendations on spacing and things like that. How could they see those in order to get these numbers the way they want them here, the number of rows?
The number of rows?
Yeah.
When we go to the layout, we don't actually have a recommended number of rows per bed. It's more you create your bed and then you can slide it out and you can see how many rows fit.
Yeah, but we have a recommendation for the spacing of the
Between
row,
the rows. Yeah. Yeah. And we can
And
show
then-
you where that is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
When we get into the layout. Yeah. All right. I see someone saying, can you download this? There is a print button right up here. So you can click print and it will come up, and it's not going to show it because it's just the way that I have my screen shared, but you can print that right up at the top there, right there. And you can print it out. So come in, if you're interested in trying to fine tune it, come in, edit the number of pounds you want to grow, edit the number of rows, etc., and find out number of plants that you need. If you don't know how many rows, hey, it doesn't matter. The plant count is going to stay the same.
Yes.
So you can just use that when you go into your layout and you're working things out in your layout. All right. Jumping back over to, man, we've got a lot to cover tonight. So we are moving right along. We want to touch a quick little word on winter cover crops, because there may be places that you aren't going to grow a crop that you're going to eat. What should you do with that? And one of the best things you could do is use a cover crop. So, Dad, do you want to talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's nothing better for the soil of your garden over the winter than to have growing plants in it.
Yep.
You could take everything out and just leave the soil bare, but that's not going to be half as good as growing something in it. Because as Paul was saying before, the roots of your plants are exuding carbon exudates into the soil. Those carbon exudates are feeding the microbial life in your soil. And so if you grow a cover crop, you're going to be feeding that life and keeping it thriving and alive, so that when you're ready to plant a spring crop in it, they're ready to go.
Yep.
You don't have to do anything to get them up and running. So the best cover crop to grow is actually a cover crop mixture of a number of different things, but it should have some grains in it. It should have some legumes in it, and it should have some brassicas, and then maybe even some other miscellaneous forbs in it. That would be the ideal mix. 7 or 8 or more different seeds.
And can we just make this super, super easy on you? Because we are super excited. I'm going to invite our awesome farmer, grower, one and only Luke Hammond, like how I
Your
turned that
psych
on.
guy.
To come on here and tell us a little bit about this special relationship that we just launched.
I loved last night, I think, when somebody said Oprah vibes from Luke. I've never been compared to Oprah in my entire life until now, but hey, maybe you get a car and you get a Sproutlet, but hey, whatever. Hey, we have built a relationship with a great green, I almost said green manure, but the company is called Green Cover, and they are specifically a cover crop seed company. And what they're trying to do is, at large scale, change conventional ag to more regenerative practices. And so they do this through education and training. And so through our relationship, they are actually bagging for you guys bags smaller than they've ever done. Because typically when they are dealing with seed, the smallest bag size for this cover crop is like a 50-pound bag or a 30-pound bag. They do not handle small bags until now, of course, right? So what we've done is we've worked with them, and we're releasing a couple of their seed varieties on the Seed Time store so that you can plant a cover crop in any size container, whether that be a small pot, if you really wanted to, like a chia pet. What grows in a chia pet? Chia. Okay, sorry. So if it's a small pot or a green stock garden or a larger garden, that will make a world of difference in the overall health of your soil. So Cool Season Soil Builder is as it sounds, it's a cool season. So what this blend of seeds are going to do is when it goes into deep winter, depending on your zone, it's going to winter kill. It's going to die off. So you're not going to have residue if you get a cold enough winter come spring. So that's a great way to just keep your crop or keep your soil covered to where there's roots in it, and it's going to prevent erosion, all kinds of benefits there. Now, if you're wanting to really build some forage and do an overwintered crop, we suggest the overwinter mix, and that's available in, I believe, what is it, Paul? 1 pound and 5 pound bags. And if you do proper storage, this is going to last for a long time. And you're broadcasting the seed, you're sprinkling the seed, trying to get a really thick green bed over that. Some people were asking about pictures. I'll try to see if I can get some pictures for you. Additionally, in this conversation, I want to highlight a couple questions here. Everything that we are teaching can be applied all the way down to small containers. Okay, these are principles that we're teaching, and Seed Time is a tool for all growers, not just like market farmers. I know we come from that background, and you're seeing a lot of pictures of giant gardens and production agriculture, and it's kind of like people are like, well, no, this doesn't relate. No, it does relate. And learn from the pros and apply them to your backyard. It'll make all the difference in the world. Okay, that's my little caveat. So it answers probably 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 questions there.
So I see somebody asking, what do you do with a cover crop?
Aha.
Just growing it for the building of your soil. When you're done with it, you can cut it off and compost it. Or if you have a larger garden space that you're growing it in, you could till it in.
So there was also a supplemental session that went out from Green Cover and their team, and they're going to talk about termination and ways to incorporate that cover crop. It's another level of learning that we don't have time for tonight, but I'm ready for another giveaway. How about a essential bundle? Who wants to win an essential bundle? Nobody's going to be...
Bug Hut in the chat. Bug Hut, BUGHUT in the chat to win an essential bundle.
Not essential. People are like, how do I spell that?
I know, exactly. You totally lose it.
So we are going to, Bug Hut has generously volunteered. Hey, let's do a giveaway. So type in the chat, Bug Hut. We're going to give away an essential bundle kit, $177 value. Again, if you don't win, go to the Seed Time store, check out what they have. And if you're just going to buy one product and you only have a few dollars to spend, I recommend De-Stressor. Okay, De-Stressor. But I also recommend all the products. So go ahead and check that out. Bug Hut, thank you for sponsoring the Winter Garden Challenge. And Paul, let's run the wheel.
Here we go. Ready?
Of mayhem.
1, 2, 3. The winner is... Dun, 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 dun.
Tick, 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 tick.
Donna Morgan, congratulations. Super excited for you, Donna. We're writing your name down. Please reach out to support@seedtime.us to claim your prize there.
And for all those wondering, that is a different Donna than the one who won the Sproutlet yesterday evening.
All these names that start with D and M.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty crazy.
There we go.
All righty. Awesome. Fun stuff. You guys enjoy this? This is fun giveaways. Love it. All right. So we're going to transition back here to Seed Time. We've been talking about how to map out your garden space. And so now we get the fun experience of seeing how do you do that in Seed Time. And so I'm going to pull up a Seed Time account here. Here we go. Just drop down. Some people were asking, where's that worksheet? It's down in the bottom right-hand side down here, little tool box right there. So yesterday we ended with adding crops to your gardening calendar, right? And so I wanted to just give a quick little overview for those who may not have been on with us last night. Seed Time, you get a calendar like this. You can easily add crops to it by selecting a crop. So let's say you want to grow some Brussels sprouts, you select it, You can schedule it. It's going to drop it into your calendar, telling you when to seed, transplant, and expected harvest time for the fall. And I want to highlight here for you all that the first thing to do is drop all your crops in and see where they land, right? This yellow bar is kind of your today mark, so you can see kind of where you are in the plan. And then there's a couple things to pay attention to. One is some of these crops, like this broccoli, the seeding is just a couple weeks, the suggested seeding time just a couple weeks ago. You can click and drag and move it forward, and you can see, okay, that harvest time is still just right in the early part of the frost. I'll still be able to probably, I can get a row cover or something and protect it enough to grow it. So I can still move that one forward. However, with the Brussels sprouts, you may notice that if you pulled that seeding date a full month forward, like it's really going to push your harvest out, and they may not mature just because of things growing slower.
Actually, you'd be pushing your harvest into spring.
Probably, yeah.
And
So what you could do is you can say, hey, let's take the transplanting time. Let's move that transplanting time forward. Yeah. And let's do it for both of those. And then if you can find a transplant, if you can go to a local store or, garden center or something like that, and you can find a transplant, then, hey, it's a little hack. You can still get those Brussels sprouts by planting that transplant, right? So line everything up there. Yesterday, we went over how once it's in the calendar, it's going to port over to your task list, telling you what to do. You can click on those tasks. They're going to pop up, tell you what to do, how to do it with visual demonstration videos. And you can go mark those tasks off as complete when you get them done. Once you do that, they mark completed in your calendar and you have this full thing. However, one thing that we did not mention last night was that there in Seed Time, you also have a gardening journal. And this is where you can write notes and observations, really anything that you want to keep track of. Yay, my harvest was awesome, right? You can write a little note about it, and you can add images. You can also tag them to specific crops. So you can say, this was about my carrots. You can search through your crops and tag them there or link them there to those plantings. And you can tag them with, the task that it was related to. You click save and you'll get a running list of journal entries that you can then sort and filter by those tags and those tasks and the crops and really anything that's in that journal entry.
And I just want to emphasize that Michael was talking about taking pictures, regular pictures
Yes.
of how your crops are going. This is what you do with your pictures.
Yes.
You put them
Yes.
in here and tag them so that you can go back and find all the pictures related to that particular carrot crop, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
Paul, I'm going to punch in here real quick. A lot of people are asking in the chat, where did you get that view? So if you can just go through the taskbar on the side, if they're new to Seed Time, this may all be new to them. So if you can kind of explain where to find stuff and maybe go all the way to the help docs, the My Profile, and the tool.
Yeah, let's do it. So on the left-hand side of your Seed Time account, this is your menu. This is the main navigational bar. This is where your calendar is. That's where you start out in Seed Time. We're going to jump into the layout very soon here. This is where your task list is, your journal, the classroom. You can click on that. It's going to take you into the classroom where you can watch different videos on different aspects of watering and caring for your plants. There's our Facebook community. You can jump over to there. The Seed Time store. You can jump into the Seed Time store here, as well as down at the bottom, right above your profile, is the help documents. And this is a really key part. We highly encourage you to go jump over, watch the quick start guides up at the top here for how to use Seed Time. Going to be very helpful for you there as well. And then on the bottom right-hand side here, I'm just going to jump back to the journal so it stands out a little bit more, is this little toolkit. You hit the toolkit, that's your garden planning worksheet that we're working through right now, step by step through the challenge, right? The green one is where you can chat us. You can contact us and say, hey, I've got a problem. How do I do this? What do I do? We're here to help, and we're going to help you make sure that Seed Time works for you. Now, you may be wondering, okay, I've got my plan. I want to lay out my garden plan. You guys want a little sneak peek at Seed Time Layout? We're super excited because this is the first full season that Layout has been released. We released it last year in the winter challenge. And so it's gone through the winter. In the spring, this is the second winter, and it is a pretty amazing tool when it comes to tracking time and space in your garden. You ready? Okay, so I'm going to click on Layout. and it's going to load up, and it's really almost its own little program within SeedTime, frankly. Right now, you can start out with a blank layout. We are going to be adding the ability to use a satellite image or a background image behind your layout. But right now, you're going to select blank layout, and it's going to pull up here. We're going to set it at 300 feet by 200 feet. You want to set this larger rather than smaller. Basically, what it is setting your canvas size, the size of your background grid that you're going to be working with here. Okay.
You can set it for your whole property if you want.
Yes. Yeah. So then once you have this grid here, down on the bottom left here, I'm kind of highlighting it down on the bottom left here, is a grid guide.
Scale.
So it's going to show you right now it's 3 feet on the small grid spaces, and it's 30 feet on the big grid spaces. As I zoom in, that scale is going to scale dynamically. So now it's 1 foot and 10 feet. If I keep scaling in, it's going to go down to 1/2 foot and 5 feet. And you can go all the way down to 1 inch and 1 foot for those scales. So you have a background grid that scales with you as you go up and down. Now, the first thing when it comes to the layout is you can add different types of objects and things in your layout. So number one is you can add landmarks. This can be trees, houses, buildings, anything like that. I'm going to add in a rectangle here. You click and drag it into the layout, and it lands on your layout. You can then grab corners of it, and you can resize it. You can grab an edge and resize it out. It's going to tell you the dimensions on the sides. If you hit this little edit button, you can actually edit those dimensions manually as well. So if you have a 40 by 32 foot house or something like that, you can then click apply. And there's a lot of customizability. You can change the colors of it. You can change the name of it. You can say, okay, so this is my house here, right? And you could also customize this shape. So it's a rectangle, but if I use this customize tool, we can make it whatever shape we wanted. So I could come in here and say I'm going to add some points here. And I'm going to say that my house actually has a little front patio porch, covered porch out the front of it here, right? And you can line up make it the exact size by doing the dimensions and all of that kind of stuff. We're not going to take the time to do that. Just want to show you that there is a lot of flexibility, a lot of customizability with adding landmarks, and these are literally just for context for your layout. Once you have added it, by the way, there is an undo button. So if you did something, if you moved it and you didn't want to move it, you can move it back, right? Or you can go backwards on the different shape adjustments there. So there's an undo and a redo. It's going to remember everything you do for an entire day, I believe. And you can also use this little button down here to zoom in and zoom out, or if you're on a computer that has a touchpad that you can pinch to zoom, that's really the easiest to pinch to zoom in and out. And there's also a little snap to grid button down here where you can just get things to snap to the grid, and that can really help you with lining things up easily. All right, so that's a quick little overview of adding landmarks into your calendar. If you wanted to add, a couple trees, you could take them in here. I actually like these ones, so that's why I am using this, and just make it green, and then you can duplicate them out, and you can have multiple little trees. But the real part of this is actually adding your crops, right? So in order to add a crop, you're going to want to add a planting location, because this layout is tied with your calendar. And when you add crops to a location, you're going to be able to later sort and filter your calendar by which crops are in which location. So I'm going to click on this tool called planting locations here. And there's multiple different shapes here as well. If I click and grab the rectangular one, I'll pull it into the calendar. And now I have a 4x8 raised bed next to my house. I can rename it here. I can say this is my raised bed. And maybe I'll rename it raised bed 1, right? Apply. I can then do all of the same things that I was telling you about earlier. I can resize it. I can customize it. I'm just going to leave it 4x8 right now. But just so you know, you can make it a completely crazy shape, right? By using that customize features. And we want to point that out because we had a lot of users that wanted to be able to create custom shaped beds. And so that's an important part here. All right. You can also duplicate these. So you can say, hey, I actually have 4 raised beds here, right? So I'm going to duplicate them out. And then once I have those 4 raised beds there, I could come and rename them like raised bed 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can keep organized that way. And I'll show you what happens here is once you have them in your layout here, you're going to end up with a little layers panel over on the side. So if you have worked with other types of building and designing tools, it's typical to have a layers panel of what comes on top of what. So right now, this raised bed is on top of the house. But if for some reason you added it before and the house got added on top, then it might actually be kind of hidden back behind that house, right? And then you can't even click on it. So you would come to the layers panel, make sure the house is down below and the raised bed is on top, and there you go. All right. So that is a quick little intro into adding planting locations. Now you need planting locations to actually add plants to. And so this is really the fun part now is when you come to actually adding your plants to your layout plan. So what I'm going to do is on the left-hand side here, I'm going to click this little crops button. And it's going to load up a view that may look a little bit familiar because it is that same timeline view that you were viewing over in the calendar. And I'm going to give you a little hint here. There's some settings that I like to set when I plan out my garden. And that is I like to turn off, by default, you're going to have all of these tasks turned on. I like to turn off all the ones that I can. There are some that you can't turn off because when it's direct seeded, when it's transplanted, and when it's harvesting is the time that it's actually taking up space in your garden. So it's important for those times to be on your calendar so you can see when that crop is going to be taking up space in your garden. But I like to turn off all of the ones that I don't need to be looking at. And then I like to sort it by the in-ground date. There's multiple different ways you can sort them. I like to sort it by the in-ground date. And that way, what I can do is come through my garden on a day-by-day basis, week-by-week basis, and plan how these crops are going to come into my garden and are going to phase out of my garden as if it was going through real life. So what happens is on this timeline, there's this little green slider bar, and this is going to default to today. In fact, you can click today up here to jump to today, but you can move, you can do space time travel. You can move in time by sliding that bar forwards and backwards. And what SeedTime does is it doesn't allow you to add a crop to your garden plan until it is the time when that crop is planned to take up space in your garden. And this keeps it realistic to real life. And it's going to make an incredible difference when it comes to planning succession plantings, because now you know when a crop is going to be finished and space is freed up so another one can go in its place, right? So I'm going to move it forward to our first crops here. And the first thing to do is to grab the crop. So I'm going to grab the crop up from the left-hand side here. You can see it start moving down. So I've got this cabbage here. I'm dragging it into the layout, and I'm going to drag it and land it on the bed itself. It needs to land on a planting location. If you land it out here, it's just going to disappear. You need to land it on a planting location here. So now I have cabbage in this bed. I'm going to stop the snap to grid here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And this is just one plant of cabbage. But if I grab the handle of it, I can stretch it out and I can start filling up my bed with cabbage based on the plant spacing that is set for that planting. If you want to see the default plant spacing for the planting, you want to come up to this little edit, 3-dot edit, and you'll edit it. And under the advanced settings, under layout, there's a new little layout tab. You can see the row spacing, the plant spacing, whether it's an offset or square alignment and stuff like that. This is in the planting settings here. This is what's going to default when you pull that crop into your layout, whatever is set here. Once it's in the layout, you can edit the plant spacing as well. It's just going to edit that one instance in the plant spacing. And if you pull a new one, it's going to go back to the master spacing that you have. So just so you can see the different options with plant spacing, you can do a square pattern or an offset pattern. You can calculate your rows automatically. And what that means is it makes all of your plants equidistant from each other, perfectly equidistant from each other. Or you can turn that off and you could put in your rows manually. So if you wanted to do like an 18-inch between the rows of your plants, you can do that. And then you can change your plant spacing. If you want to do like really smaller heads of cabbage, you could go down to 12 inches plant spacing, etc. So you can really play around with that plant spacing and get it set up. Now, here's the cool thing. As you move along, I'm going to move on to carrots here now, right? And so I'll come down and I'll add some carrots into my other bed here. Carrots are small, and so I'm going to actually turn them. And here's a bonus tip. If you hold the shift key down while you're rotating, it will snap to like 15-degree increments. So I'm going to take these carrots and I'm going to put them in the bed like this. If I zoom in, you'll see the individual rows of the carrots. But as I zoom out, it's just going to kind of block them out. If you hover over it, it's going to tell you the carrots there and how many are in there. Now, here's where your little worksheet comes into play. So on the bottom right, you're going to see again the little toolbox here. And when you click on that toolbox, it's going to pull up your worksheet. You're going to go to the growing calculator, and I'm going to come down to my carrots here. And for me, we're not going to do any storage. We're just going to do fresh eating. And so I see that I have 240 carrots that I want to use. By the way, once you go through and you figure out your plant counts, you can import them into the planning worksheet using this button right here. So you can go back to the planning worksheet, click import plant counts, and now I've got my carrots and I want 240 of them, right? So I can come back to my plan here. I can see I have 87 there right now. So I'm going to add another couple rows. Now I'm up to 145. Now I'm up to 174, 203. Let's add a couple more, 232 and 261. So if I wanted to grow a little extra, I could leave it at the 261 there, right? And I could say, okay, now I have my carrots. I have how much I want of them. And you can come and you can check it off in the section here that says added to my layout plan. So you can come and check off that my carrots are added. If I wanted to do my broccoli or cabbage, I would come, well, I have my cabbage up here, but I would keep walking through. I would take my beets, right? And I would say, okay, I want to put my beets in here and add them in. And this is where, Dad, you were talking about earlier what the row spacing is.
Yes.
This is where you would find that row spacing. Right. So you'd find that row spacing, and you could also see, okay, I've got a 4x8 bed. I can fit like 5 rows. It's kind of pushing it. Maybe I would just do 4 rows of beets there. And then I could come back to my planning worksheet and I could go to the growing calculator and I could put in under the beets that I'm actually going to do 4 rows. So how many feet do I need? I only need 1 feet. I only need 20 plants here. So right now it's got 50 plants. So we're going to do it down to 20 plants there. Boom. Okay. Now I've got my beets and I know how many beets I'm going to grow. Except because I have them spaced out, I'm going to do them square. So you can change it, you can edit it, right? And then you'll come back to your worksheet and you can mark it off that you have your beets added as well. If you don't care about the plant counts, then you just skip that and just mark it off when you add it to your layout so that you keep track of which crops have you added, which still need to be added, etc. And then you will continue working through as if it was real life, like I said, and walking through adding your crops to your layout plan. Tomorrow, we're going to go into a deeper dive into succession planting. And so we're going to jump back into the layout here. I'm going to walk you through how you can plan succession plantings where one crop is growing, it finishes, and another crop is coming in to take its place. Because what happens is as you go with the slider across, once you jump off the other end of it, watch the carrots, they just disappeared, right? Because your expected harvest window is ending, your space is being freed up. Now something else could be growing in that spot. And you can walk through your whole season that way. So once again, tomorrow, we're going to be going into a deeper dive on that with succession spacing particularly. So keep an eye out for that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So I'm going to bump in here and say a couple things
Go for it.
in regards to your garden plan. When you do get the layout feature, and when you do plan your current garden of the garden that you have from this past summer, and you kind of backtrack, this is going to help you be able to figure out where you can put your winter crops into your existing garden space and see what space is left over and where you might want to put a cover crop. That
Yep.
is why this applies to the Winter Garden Challenge. Thank you.
Yeah. And I want to also just point out, someone was saying we do intercropping, and you can absolutely do that. So you could take these carrots and you could say, when the cabbage is first going in, I may have some carrots growing in between it that maybe even were seeded earlier, so they're ready to pull out once the cabbages get a little bigger. So you're interplanting in between. So you can do companion planting. There's no limitations of where you put your plants within a planting location. And then later you can come up and you can filter by those locations. So you can say, I want to just see everything that's in my raised bed number 1, and you can work with those plantings, etc. There's a lot more in our VIP session. We'll go into a little bit more depth of other things that you can do in the layout as well. But we wanted to give you the nuts and bolts to get started with Seedtime Layout, so you can see how it works and how you can implement it and use it in your garden and stay organized. That being said, we have some very special announcements and releases. Would you like to get a little sneak peek at what is the big reveal tonight? Let us know in the chat. Okay. So yeah, it's just going to pull that off here and jump back over to our slides. Here we go. Super excited to be revealing to you tonight some very, very fun and cool updates in Seedtime. Okay, big reveal, drum roll. Number 1, Seedtime Companion app. Now, Seedtime Companion app, you've probably been seeing actually in the challenge dashboard that there has been, we've been encouraging you to download the desktop app, download the Companion app. However, it was not available on Android, and I am super stoked to announce to you that it is now available on Google Play. So if you do not have it, go grab your Seedtime Companion app on Google Play. I'm going to do a very quick screen share of the app here, if I can. Let's see here. Let me present my entire screen. And Luke, you tell me if this is coming up.
You are live, my friend.
All right, so this is the Seedtime Companion app. Right now, it is a companion app. It has the task list, so you can easily see what tasks you need to do in your garden. And it has the journal, so you can quickly and easily keep track of journal entries and any notes that you have in your garden when you go out. You can view those notes, etc. Check out the pictures that you added in it. You can add pictures, add journal entries, all of that kind of stuff directly here in the Seedtime Companion app. And drum roll, what we are currently coming soon that we're working on, we're actually working on the design right now, is designing the calendar, and then we'll be adding the layout. So we're in stages adding to this companion app where you'll be able to add crops with your calendar and everything within the app itself. But right now it's a companion app, so it's got the task list and journal. So jump in and start using it. It will make it a lot easier when it comes to just keeping track of things in your garden. 100%. All right.
I think my favorite feature is definitely the camera on the journal. That is so excellent.
Yes,
for sure.
yeah.
Besides having the task sheet and everything else, it's awesome. Definitely the camera.
100%. All right. However, that's not all, because we have another special reveal to you today, and that is with our, oh, by the way, so the Seedtime app does have notifications. Sorry, I forgot about these slides. It does have notifications, and we're planning to actually make those notifications quite adjustable. So you can choose what days you want to be notified, potentially what tasks you want to be notified or not notified about, etc. So some cool stuff coming down the road with the Seedtime app. But drum roll, we have another announcement, and that is new crops and varieties. One of the biggest requests in the Seedtime community is the crop list. I want more things in the crop list. So we had 83 crops and 3,497 variety items in seed time. And as of tonight, that is changing. And so if you go into your seed time account right now, you now have 132 crops that are available in the crop list and 10,467 varieties. And actually, I need to check with our developer. It was so many varieties that it was actually timing out and trying to upload them in. So I'm not sure if all the varieties are in there quite yet, but they will be extremely soon if they're not. But a huge update to that crop list. And so we're very excited to announce and release that to you. We do have one other very big announcement and reveal tonight, and that is the very beginning of new custom task workflows and custom tasks. This is the embryonic state of it. So I want to show you just very quickly what it is. If I go back to our seed time account here, I'm going to jump back to the calendar. I'm going to take one of these crops. And if you go down and look at the advanced settings, it will actually look different today than it did yesterday. So if you click on advanced settings and you look at the schedule, we have reorganized the list of tasks here, or the fields into a list of tasks. So now you are going to have the planting method here. You can choose whether it's direct seeded or transplanted, and it's going to have a different list of tasks here for each of those. On each task, it's going to show you the duration, that it starts 119 days before the first frost. If you click it, you can then change your, the starting date, how many weeks before the first frost. You can set a manual date if you want to. Coming soon, you're going to be able to customize like the bed preparation tasks, and you'll be able to delete tasks as well coming very soon. You can edit your transplanting task, you can edit the harvest window, etc. And it lines things up more visually, so you can see what kind of a task list is going to be added to your plan, and also you can look and see how those tasks are related to each other. What's coming down the road is custom tasks, where you will be able to add, you'll click a button, say add my own custom task. It's going to add it into this list, and you'll be able to add your own fertilizer tasks or watering reminders or anything that you want, and you can add them relative to other tasks. So like fertilize 14 days after transplanting, and then every 21 days until harvest. That type of granularity, but in a simple visual way where you can quickly and easily add those in. And on top of that, going to the next level, you'll be able to create your own workflows. So you'll be able to save a workflow, and you'll be able to go back to those workflows and reuse them over and over again for the different crops that you grow in this little drop down, your own customized workflow.
Yeah, because some crops just have their own unique workflow.
Yes. Yeah. So super excited to share with you the embryonic state of that as it is just getting rolled out to you during this event, actually, which is pretty exciting. However, believe it or not, we have some more exciting plans down the road. How many of you would like a little sneak peek at the future plans of Seed Time? Let us know in the chat if you want to see the future plans of Seed Time. We just talked about custom tasks where you could literally enter anything into Seed Time. And this will not just be in those workflows, but you could literally add, I want to keep tasks on how to take care of my bees, right? I want to do tasks on how to, when to wash my dishes. Like it could be anything, custom tasks in there.
Yeah, particularly we're thinking about perennials.
Yes.
How to manage
you're going to have repeating harvests with perennials, all kinds of stuff there. Okay. So I'm seeing a lot of people. Awesome. Yes. Fantastic. Drum roll, because we believe that coming up soon, Seed Time can get even more awesome when we add Seed Time weather. So imagine this. What if historical weather data and forecasting was integrated directly into your calendar? Does that sound like a dream to you? What if you logged into your calendar, you saw all of the past history, your highs and lows, whether it was sunny or rainy on all of the days going in the past, plus a 10-day future forecast. So you jump into your month and you can actually choose what day you're going to do your tasks on based on the weather, right? But not just that. What about a weather dashboard where you can set your own weather alerts? So you can say, I want to be notified when the weather drops below 50 degrees. And you could just really fine tune and tailor that to you. there's some really awesome cool other things that this will open our ability to do with suggested planting times and all that kind of stuff as well.
I think we'll be
Yeah.
able to fine tune
Yeah.
the calendars a lot more once we have this.
Yeah.
down.
But believe it or not, we believe it can get even better. And this next one is actually an ask from the Seed Time community, because at the end of the day, it's not just about us making a cool software. We want to know what you want in Seed Time. And so the Seed Time community blew us away with how many people asked for the ability to track inventory. And so we are planning to build out Seed Time inventory. So if you're one of those people that's tired of sifting through random half-used seed packets, not sure what you have on hand or what you need to purchase, then this is going to be the solution for that, because you'll have one place that you can track all your inventory. And imagine this, if you purchase your seeds in the Seed Time store, they can automatically go into your inventory, right? And we can automate a lot of that inventory tracking as much as possible. It's going to be a huge game changer. And it's not just seeds. You could track your fertilizers, any other kinds of things that you want to track the inventory for in Seed Time. Super excited about that as well. However, believe it or not, we believe that Seed Time can get even better. You guys ready for this? Because we are planning to also build out Seed Time records. So for those of you that are crazy about records, or you just wish you could keep track of how many tomatoes you were able to harvest in your garden, this is going to be one of the easiest ways to keep track of records in your garden. So you click, I harvested tomatoes with one tap, you put in, it was 10 pounds, and all of these records are going to get tracked in the background. What variety of tomato it was, what day you harvested it on, where it was located in your garden, so much that can just automatically get recorded because it's all built into the whole ecosystem in the task list. So this is going to be an amazing thing. And along with that, someone said, yeah, year-to-year comparison. Absolutely, because with records, we're going to also build analytics. Records are awesome, but spreadsheets and columns full of numbers, hey, can be overwhelming, mind-boggling, right? So let's build a way that you can easily visualize those, compare your years, figure out, when were your peak harvest times, all of that kind of stuff. You could just really geek out with records and analytics, which is super cool. And we're super excited to bring that to you. And it comes back around to this one question that we have asked multiple times before. I see some of you just kind of going crazy in the chat. Love it. Comes back to this question is, how many of you are serious and really love that idea and want to have that continual harvest of fresh food out of your garden? Where you are basically replacing the grocery store with your garden. Every week you can go out, harvest something fresh, harvest something new, bring it in, put it on the table to nourish yourself, nourish your family, and build your family, and even build your community, grow extra that you can share with other people. And how many of you would like to do that without the stress and the overwhelm of the old way of looking up books, Googling when should I seed my lettuce, trying to figure it out on your own? And frankly, we just hear over and over that it can be stressful and it can be overwhelming. And we've been there ourselves, and it has been stressful and overwhelming. It's just, it's complex to figure out. And this is why we are so excited to be putting Seed Time into your hands, because this is exactly what Seed Time was built for. Like CJ here, who says, I now have a clear plan of what to do when. Jen says, I'm a fairly new gardener. This is so helpful. Kim, my fall and winter garden last year was the best ever because the guesswork of when to plant was simplified and so easy. It gives beginning and experienced gardeners tools to have the most productive and successful gardens and harvests. Callie says, Seed Time definitely made it easier to plan and stay on task and be confident that I'm planting things at the right time. And for Stacy, it was organization. It's really helped me be less anxious about growing everything and gave me a ton of confidence in managing a whole garden. Stephen here says it took my timing from used to plan for about a week, and it took it down to about a day. We have heard back over and over that people have been planning their gardens up like around 5 times faster. Alexa saved me weeks of work in just a few days. Brittany, this has made days of sitting and researching, planning, sketching into hours. Roxy just cut my work from days to a few hours. Good Stewart, it was taking me weeks, is only taking me a couple of days with Seed Time. Sarah, what usually takes me several days of planning now only takes me a couple of hours. And so if you're sitting there and you're like, man, I want that type of experience, I want those types of results, then we are super excited because we do have something special for you tonight. And it starts out with the fact that it takes all of us together to bring Seed Time to life. From the beginning, Seed Time has been built by the gardening community. We actually launched the very first prototype version of Seed Time in connection with a Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign that was funded in 10 minutes and continued on to become the second most funded app on Kickstarter at the time of the launch. It was really fun. It was an awesome experience. It was super exciting. And what it does is it highlights that this isn't just our project. Seed Time is a community project. And it takes all of us to bring it together. And through the community, through you all, we have been able to have the privilege of being able to reach over 297,000 users in 30 plus countries and 6 continents. And we could never do that alone. We could never have done it without the community that has banded around us and has actually built out. Our team has grown. So I just want to introduce you to our team real quick. Natasha, Shelby, Luke, David, Brianna, Sean, Joshua, and our developers down here, Andre, Zhao, Alexander, Tudor. We have an awesome team that is behind that is supporting you and that is building out this project. We could not do this without you all. And so if you are catching the vision, and if you'd like to experience less stress and overwhelm planning and growing your garden and your farm, and if you would like to join our team of community supporters by investing in the future of Seed Time, here is what we are excited about. During this event, we're hosting a fundraiser to continue building out Seed Time into the best garden and farm planner ever, which means we're opening up an opportunity for you to get $100 off lifetime access to Seed Time, or 40% off your first year of access to Seed Time. $100 off lifetime access or 40% off your first year. Now, here's the thing. Lifetime accounts are not open to the public. In fact, they aren't even available inside your Seed Time account. They're just something very special. But for a very limited time, we're going to open up this opportunity for you to get a lifetime account and never have to worry about paying for Seed Time again with all of those future releases that we just mentioned. Pretty exciting. Does that sound cool? Or what? So here's what's included with your Seed Time Basic or Unlimited account when you upgrade. Here's everything that you get. And the little ones that are asterisked are not included with a free account. So some of these are included with a free account. The ones that are asterisks are not. So and I'm going to go through this at the unlimited level. So at the unlimited level, you're going to get unlimited calendars, unlimited built-in crop categories, unlimited planting schedules, as well as unlimited custom crop categories and custom varieties. You can add in your own custom crops, custom varieties. You will get access to the new Seed Time layout, which incidentally, the layout is only available on the upgraded versions of Seed Time, but you get unlimited layouts or one layout for basic accounts. And then you'll also get unlimited access to the Seed Time tasks, the Seed Time journal, the classroom, and the Seed Time community. And as we've been doing this sale in the Seed Time store, imagine if you had 20% off all of your seed packets all the time, not just during an event like this. Every upgraded account to Seed Time gets that discount. It's guaranteed. The amount may vary with the market, but we just really hone in and keep it there as much as possible at that 20% off all seed packets. And then you will also get access, depending on your level, with Seed Time weather release, the Seed Time inventory release, Seed Time records, and Seed Time analytics. Unlimited access to those based on the level that you sign up for. So you may be wondering, how do I get my hands on Seed Time? And by far the best and the most exciting opportunity is to get a lifetime account. And we may have lifetimers here in the chat. And yeah, feel free to share with people your experience with grabbing a lifetime account and what it has meant to you. The lifetime accounts at full price are $497, and we actually have people purchase them for $497. However, for a limited time, you can get them for $100 off for just $397 or 3 payments of $133. Alternatively, you can jump in with 1 year of unlimited for 40% off. In the future, it's going to retail. We're planning to retail it at $168, but you can jump in for just $99, and that actually is a discount, an ongoing discount at that level as well, just because of the fact that we are currently building Seed Time out. Or you can jump in with 1 year of basic for not $84, but just $49 for your first year of access with Seed Time at a basic level. So you can choose between these 3 options here. And we do have a fast action bonus tonight. For those of you who jump in tonight at any level, we are going to throw in for free 6 months of live group coaching calls with our elite members. So every month we jump in with our elite members. We do a monthly training. We give a garden update from our garden. We have Q&A times, and it's a place where you can get help through the season. For those of you who jump in tonight, we're going to give you for free 6 months of that live group coaching where you can join those calls. So an extra little bonus. We just want to go over the top for you tonight. So that being said, if you are ready to get started, then click the link on this page or go to seedtime.us/join. And actually, I'll have someone, if someone could post in the chat there, seedtime.us/join, and then just pin it up to the top of the chat. We'll just pin that. Our team will pin that up there for you so you can have access to that. That's where you're going to want to go. And I'm going to show you real quickly what that looks like when you go there as well. So last time we were talking about date and time. We're going to now go to seedtime.us/join. You're going to land on this page here, and you're going to see the option. There's actually a link here to grab your free account as well. But if you scroll down, you'll see the 3 different options to jump in with a lifetime account, yearly, or basic. If you don't have a Seed Time account yet, click the big green button that says sign up now. It will walk you through creating your account and purchasing that level of access. Or if you already have a Seed Time account, use the green link underneath that says upgrade here, and you can upgrade it. You can scroll down and see a running list of everything that comes with the different accounts. And if you scroll down on the page, there's a bunch more information there as well. However, this is the place to go, seedtime.us/join, seedtime.us/join.
So
Yeah.
Paul, there are a number of people on here who've been saying they don't remember what their account status is. They have something with us, but they don't remember what level they are.
Yeah, so if you go into your Seed Time account and you go to your profile page in the little menu, it will tell you what level status that you have in Seed Time, or just email us too, and we'll help you out with that as well. And to top it off, we do want to let you know that this is backed by our 30-day money-back guarantee. So either Seed Time just really makes growing your garden so much easier and faster and less stress and less overwhelm, or shoot us a note within the first 30 days and we've got your back 100%. We want to take that risk off of your shoulders, put it on our shoulders, so that the decision you make today really is a decision to try it out. So you jump in, give it a try, and see if it is the right fit for you. All right. Otherwise, now is the time, friends, to take your garden to the skies. We're looking forward to working with you in your garden. We'd love for you to have the experience of our other users. We share this because, hey, we don't want to just sit here and toot our own horn. We want other people who are using Seed Time to be able to share their experience, so you can make a decision based not just on our word, but on the word of the community itself as well. So Jen here, says best harvest ever. Aaron, this is by far the best garden planning tool I've come across. Best comprehensive planning tool. Jen, hands down the best garden planning tool out there. Larry, best garden management tool I've seen for the price. Or Maria. I'm not going to read through all of these, but I'm going to focus on Michael here, who is a farmer. So if you are a market farmer or something like that, Michael says, buy it. This will be your best investment in your farm ever. All right, friends. With that being said, now is the time to take action in your garden. Go. You've got your crops. You've chosen what to grow. You've figured out what you're going to grow. You've added it to your calendar. It's time to add it to your layout. Go grab your upgraded level of Seed Time, and we can't wait to hold your hand through that process. Now, that being said, for those of you who are on the fence, or maybe you feel like you can't afford an upgraded account right now, continue using the free account, because there is so much that you can do at that free level with the calendar. It's going to be extreme game changer in keeping track of your garden already.
There is so much available in the free one. You've got the calendar, you've got the journal, you've got the task list, and you've got the classroom.
Yep.
So, it's worth it. It's not just to come on to get you to
Yep.
be frustrated so that you'll sign up for the upgrade.
Yeah, exactly. That being said, when you upgrade, you get all of those extra bells and whistles.
You
And
do get them. Yeah.
And we do want to point out here that, like we said earlier, lifetime accounts are not available all the time. And once we build out these future releases, that level of lifetime account, the price is going to go up. Those who have been with us from the beginning have watched the price of lifetime accounts go up over time. And once we build out these future releases, CTEM is going to be a much more powerful platform, and the price of a lifetime account is going to go up. So now is the time to jump in. There's going to be a limited window. And if you jump in tonight, you can still get it with this fast action bonus as well, with the 6 months of live group coaching. So jump in and go to seedtime.us/join. Otherwise, we're going to start transitioning over here to our Q&A, and we've got a giveaway and all kinds of other fun stuff. So Luke is going to come on with us, and I'm sure that people have questions as well. We can help answer any of those questions that you have as well. I'm going to, for the giveaway, real quick, Luke, what I'm going to say is type in lifetime in the chat. Lifetime, if you want to win lifetime access to CTEM.
Yeah, and I do want to delay on that a little bit so people have the chance to add that tag, because that tag is what gets the spin, and we were actually delayed on some of the other giveaways earlier in this session. So we'll wait just a couple minutes. We had tons of questions, like way too many to cover in 4 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So
we can go a little bit over time tonight if we have some extra questions. Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out the best, like, first one. Can anybody else hear that thunder? Like, it is storming here right now. Like, yeah, it's pretty awesome. Should we go CTEM specific questions or crop specific questions?
Let's go back and forth. Let's go back and forth. Maybe hit up a CTEM specific question, and then.
Can you bring the differences out? Can you bring maybe the sheet out of the difference between the free version? And let me just tell you, that free version is available to you for life. It'll always be free. Our goal in CTEM is to make gardening more accessible for everyone. That's really the heartbeat. But in order to do that, we have to provide this product for you guys. Like, it takes a tremendous amount of work, energy, effort to make this possible. A lot of manpower, a lot of study. And just so you guys know, there's also hosting fees and all that stuff. And we have just under 300,000 people that have CTEM accounts, and we have to pay for all of those in a hosting. So it's not just like hey, we do it and it's yeah, it's extensive.
It's a project, yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So big.
So if you go to the homepage of CTEM, you go to our public pricing page, you can see a breakdown between a free account, a basic unlimited account, and a basic account here. So you can go and read the differences between those. So that's where I would point people to see the differences between those. Otherwise, if you go to seedtime.us/join, that's where you will see the breakdown with the lifetime account and then the unlimited and basic at a discount. Because if you go to the yearly plans here, it's just the full $84 a year. So go to that special sale page where you can get 40% off your first year.
Yep, the one that's tagged there.
Yep.
We have a lot of people asking about GreenStalk garden planters, and can I use this in my GreenStalk garden planter, specifically in regards to layout? What do we have for that? What's in the features? You probably don't need to bring it up, but just kind of share verbally what's going on with vertical planting and when you stack plants on top of one another in the garden.
Yeah. So I'm just going to make ourselves just a little bit bigger here, because what I want to do is demonstrate to you. With a GreenStalk planter, you have like this planter that has all of these notches, right, that you're planting in. And what you can do right now in layout is you can build a square that's your GreenStalk, and you can add circles for each of those spaces that you're going to grow something in for each of the.
So the niches are in a circle around the GreenStalk.
Yeah.
on different levels going down.
Yeah,
And so you have a
exactly.
line in the square for each circle.
For
around
each
it.
of those,
Yeah.
those levels in your green stock. And then you can pull your crops in and you can choose where they're going to go inside your green stock, and you can track it just like you would anything else. However, in the future, we're planning to have it where your green stock is in the layout and you click it and it pops up the little flyout with all of the little levels that you can then pull your crops into. So really fun stuff planned coming up for the layout there with green stocks. Love it.
There was probably, I don't know, 50 questions regarding cover crops, of timing, utilizing cover crops, termination of cover crops, what qualifies as a cover crop. And the reality is we're trying to just get roots in our soil. Okay, we want living roots in our soil. The way a plant grows is it's actually sending signals down to the soil through root exudates and triggering the soil to release the nutrients so that it can uptake it. So the more that you have that plant communicating with that soil, that's what's building soil health and soil microbes. So we want to keep our soil covered as much as possible. It doesn't really matter what's growing. However, there are benefits to a lot of different species because it's sending out different let's say cat calls saying, hey, I need this. Send up some more boron, please. Okay. That was ridiculous. I'm not going to say that anymore. Paul, where do people find, or let's just say they have a crop failure in their calendar. How do they just delete the crop out of there?
Yes, good question. So if you go to our help docs, actually you can chat our little chat guy and say, how do you delete a crop? And it'll tell you how and send you to the help doc for it. But I'll go ahead and share my screen here real quick for you.
Why don't you share your screen and share exactly where to find that? Because that will answer the vast majority of all these questions.
Yep.
Everyone pay attention.
Pay attention here. If you want to delete a crop, you can go, there's a little menu button on the right-hand side of it. This is in your My Crops panel here. If you click on that menu button, there's going to be an option to delete that crop. You click delete, it's going to confirm, do you really want to delete this? You say, okay, and it's going to delete it. You can delete whole categories if you want to at a time. There are instances where you may not want to do that. But yeah, you could just clear it out and delete everything if you want to do that way. But that's the simple, easy way to delete a crop. You can also hide a crop, and it's going to hide it from the calendar there. However, we typically encourage people, if you're filtering, to actually use the little search filter box up here. So you can start typing in carrots, and it will filter the calendar down to just show that one crop. Or you can put a space and you can start typing another crop name, and it'll filter down to just those two. If you have them in your layout, you can use the layout filters where you can say just the crops in raised bed number 1, etc. So multiple different ways that you can filter and sort your calendar and manage those crops.
Very, very cool.
All right, Luke, I think we should probably do the giveaway. I think people are putting in like multiple times. It's like, how many times can I enter to win? Hey, all right, so I'm going to share my screen here, and we're going to pick the winner. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1, and the winner is tick, 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 tick. Rowan! Rowan, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Huge congratulations. That's huge, Rowan. Come make sure to send us an email to support@seedtime.us.
Here's $500.
Yeah. We look forward to giving you access to your lifetime account to SeedTime. Very excited for you. Congratulations.
Super fun. I think with that, honestly, with the questions, we have a lot of people asking about the VIPs. How can they jump into those VIP sessions? Where do they find that if they did sign up for the VIP session or they thought they were in it? Where is that link?
Yeah, if you go to seedtime.us and go to /VIP. So seedtime.us /VIP, and that's how you can get a part of those VIP sessions. 100%.
Very cool.
All right.
Some questions in regards to the cover crop. The 20% off is only on seed packets. So the cover crop seed is actually a full pound of seed in the smallest value. And so it's already reduced it down, and there's just no margin there for us. So we're just unavailable to offer that discount to you.
Yep.
Do we take Venmo, Paul?
We do not currently take Venmo. We do take PayPal. So if you use PayPal, you can use that, or we take all of the major credit card, debit card, 100%. Yep.
Wonderful. And again, the free account never expires for the free account.
Someone's saying, how do you contact a live person for some help? 100% use that chat button on the bottom right, and make sure you click talk to a person, because it's going to start out with a little bot that's going to try and help you point to some of the help documents and stuff like that. And if that doesn't help, click talk to a person. That's going to drop into our support tickets. Now, obviously, in an event like this, we get a lot more support tickets. So there may be a little delay before we get back to you, but we're going to try and get to you as soon as possible.
Very cool. I think that's really all that needs to get brought to the attention.
Question here, Luke. Jessica's asking, is this going to work well with growing everything in pots? Yes, you can use, those planting locations can be anything from a pot to a raised bed to a green stock garden planter. It's really anywhere that you're going to plant something, right? And you can customize the shape and everything with that. So it will work very well with growing in pots, and you can still track them in your calendar as well. I see Stacy here says, if we choose monthly, can we change to yearly later? Yes, you can. You can jump in with a monthly account, and then you can later upgrade. You can upgrade and downgrade in your profile in SeedTime. So you have that control right there yourself. You can jump in and you can upgrade and downgrade right in there. Again, cool stuff.
Awesome. Should we talk about tomorrow's lecture and kind of bring that back up? Tomorrow night, we're going to be joined by Edwin's brother, John. John Dysinger is a professional farmer that runs an incredible farm called Bountiful Blessings Farm. He's been running that for how long, Edwin?
So he started in 99.
Whoa, 25 years, folks.
So I worked with him for 10 years. That's where I got my farming experience.
So vast knowledge of succession planting, and that's going to be the topic. I know it feels like we've talked about succession planting, but there's a lot more to know about going into winter and making sure that you have enough planted, as like we've talked about, the slow growth period going into winter. So he's going to be talking all about that. I know you will enjoy it. So be sure to set your alarm clock and tune in for tomorrow night at the same time, based on where you're located.
Yeah, and I see a couple more questions here that I think we should answer. Melissa says, if I just paid monthly and switch, will I get refunded for the previous amount? Yeah, so if you've already upgraded your SeedTime account, you can, and you want to jump in with one of these specials, you can jump in at any level with the specials, like upgrade to a lifetime account, then email us at support@seedtime.us. Let us know, and we'll prorate a refund of the time that was not used from the previous pay period that you paid. So 100%, we've got your back there with that. There is also a question here about VIP versus elite versus lifetime. Yeah, good question. So VIP right now is just during this challenge. It's just a VIP experience during this event where we have live sessions where we as a coaching team jump on and we answer specific questions of those who have paid for that VIP group coaching. Lifetime account to SeedTime is lifetime account to the software platform. Okay, so it's to the software itself where you plan your garden and you add your crops and all that kind of stuff, plus all these future releases of records, analytics, weather, all of those. Those are part of that lifetime account to the software. We have an elite membership, and we don't have an offer for it right now on the table, which has those monthly coaching calls. However, if you jump in tonight with one of those levels, and someone else was asking, is it only for the lifetime accounts, or do you still get the 6 months of elite coaching as a fast action bonus if you jump in for one of the yearly levels? We're going to give that to anyone who jumps in at any level. So whether you jump in at a lifetime account or whether you jump in at one of the yearly levels, if you jump in tonight, we like to reward those who are action takers in the garden. They're go-getters. You're going to go and do this because at the end of the day, we want you to see results, and you're not going to see results without taking action in your garden. It's fun to dream. It's fun to sit there and be like, yeah, cool, I want to grow a winter garden. But at the end of the day, you got to actually take action to go do it, right? And this is one of those actions that you could take. I'm not saying that this is the only action, but it's one action that you could take towards planting that winter garden. And so as a little special reward for those who are action takers, if you jump in tonight, we'll give you those 6 months of coaching to help you along the way. Because that is a verified, like once a month, you absolutely can get on. You can ask any question and we are going to answer it. We stay on and answer all the questions that are on those sessions, 100%.
For the annual, does a discount continue once you?
Yes. So Gabriel's wondering, with the annual, does the discount continue when it renews? Right now with those annuals, it's 40% off your first year, and then it goes back up to the full price at basic. However, there's a little caveat. On the unlimited level, we're currently running a beta discount of 35% off right now. And so you'll get 40% off your first year, and then it'll jump up to the 35% off. So it only goes up to 109.20. So you actually get an ongoing discount with that one.
Yeah.
Yep. Your free account does not expire. No, it does not expire. You have it for life, like Luke was saying earlier.
Here's a quick question from Elise or Elisa. Yeah. Why would I want to have unlimited calendars?
That is such a good question. So we have users that use the multiple calendars for different reasons. And so I'll list just a few of them here for you. One is that users may actually be growing gardens in different locations that have different parameters, different frost dates. You know, we have a user that one of our first users of Seed Time had a garden in Germany and a garden in South Africa, you know, totally different climates. And so he could set a calendar for each location, and it's going to have those different parameters, different frost dates, everything. Each calendar is like its own ecosystem within Seed Time. It has, with each calendar is tied the task list, the journal, the layout, etc. They don't cross-pollinate between each other. So each calendar is like its own little account. However, we have other users that will use a second calendar for just a playground. Like they just want to play around with Seed Time in one, and then they want another calendar that's their actual garden plan that they are using. There's other ones that will use them, like, you know, they want to help their mom plan their garden, right? So maybe it's just next door, or they want to plan their church garden and their home garden with one Seed Time account, and they can keep those separate. Another use case scenario, and one that we actually encourage Seed Time as a rolling calendar. So it just rolls from one year to the next. So you can keep journal entries going back years, and your plantings just continue from one year to the next, just kind of like real life. However, there are some people that really like blocking years out. And so they use one calendar for this year, and then they create a new calendar for the next year. And it's got a new journal and everything. And then they just go between them to go and search for their entries back in other previous years. So those are just multiple different ways that people use the different calendars. And there's probably more because people are creative. But those are a few of the ones that we have come across. I think it's really, really excellent question.
The other thing a lot of people do is they use some for flowers and some for food, or some for like flower beds.
Mhm.
And they separate the calendar piece of it out because they don't want to see the extra clutter from their flower stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Nanette here says, what is the timeline for these additions? Good question. As you saw today, we are already in the midst of building out those custom tasks and the ability to add custom tasks. In fact, during this event, we may actually do another release. And so stay tuned because we may release a new or show you a new feature in that whole scope of custom tasks. So we are in the process of development right now. Your support helps us to continue that. And frankly, your support is what determines how quickly we can do it. Because the more support that we get, you know, if we get enough, we may be able to hire another developer. We may be able to do it faster. That being said, the current timeline is we would like to get a basic version of each of those, of the weather, the inventory records, analytics, custom tasks. We'd like to get a basic version of each of those done by the end of the year is our goal, so that moving into the next season, Seed Time is awesome, much more filled out, complete suite going into the next growing season.
Okay, I'm gonna answer this question from CJ. Does Seed Time offer nutrient information on the crops that you've suggested?
Good question. We do not currently offer nutrient information. We, in the little master classes, we go a little bit into soil health in the classroom, but we don't do it on a crop by crop basis. We're not quite down that granular for them. Good question.
Ooh, I love this question. Private investors opportunity?
Great question. Feel free to reach out to us. We actually, I'll just be frank. Seed Time is a community built project, and that's part of the real awesomeness part of it. Is it's such a grassroots movement of community. We have not taken on, it's not built by venture capitalists, by private investors and all that kind of stuff. We'd love to connect with you just because we like to make relationships. That being said, Seed Time is really a community thing. And so we're really excited to invite every single one of you to be a part of that. And you actually are basically a private investor in Seed Time by grabbing your lifetime account. So that's pretty cool.
Is this a one-time offer for the lifetime? And how long do they have the, can they sleep on it?
This is a one-time offer for the lifetime account. We can't promise that you'll see the opportunity again. We run them during events like this, special promotion periods. I can't promise that you won't see it again necessarily, but we really can't promise that you will. And so if you're at all on the fence, I would say make the decision now of whether you want to, because the next time you see it, the price could go up. We may have these other things built out, and the price could definitely be at a higher level. We are running this. So the fast action bonus is just for those who sign up tonight. So if you want to grab that 6 months extra coaching, go grab your account and we'll get that for you tonight. However, we are going to make this offer available for a limited time. It's going to for sure be available through the weekend and into next week. And so we'll let you know the actual ending date by email. So keep a lookout on your email. We'll send out some reminders so that you don't miss it. 100%. Yeah.
I went ahead and I pinned support@seedtime.us. There was a number of people asking for the email address to ask the questions. Additionally, there were people asking for the password to get into the Facebook group, I believe.
Yeah. So if you have a Seed Time account, go to the community button and click it, and it's going to give you the password to get into the group. We actually try and keep that group just Seed Time users, so it doesn't just blow up with just other random gardeners. And what's really awesome is it's created a really synergistic group, and everybody helps each other, and you jump in there, and it's just a really awesome community. But we do try and keep it to Seed Time users, so that's why we have the password. And I mean, it's almost a joke, but it is something that keeps it a little bit more of a Seed Time community instead of just a random gardening community. So go to your Seed Time account, go to the community section, and it will give you the password.
We do apologize for those who are not on Facebook. Right now, that is the least expensive route for having a nice social media platform for interaction. So we do apologize for those who are not FaceTime users. Maybe in the future, we'll have our own hosting thing. But at this time, we are not there.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Davey's got a question here. I'd like to share this app with my farm team for scheduling tasks. Is it possible to share an account? Great question, Davey. We currently allow you to share your account with your farm team. Currently, they all have to sign in with the one sign-in account. So you would just want to set a password that you're okay with sharing with that team, and make sure that you are okay with sharing that with your team. We are planning down the road in the future. We are planning to build out an entire suite specifically for farmers. There's going to be multi-user access permission levels, all of that kind of stuff. It is at a totally different level than the Seed Time Unlimited that we're offering right now. But down the road, we'd love to do CSA management. We'd love to do all kinds of stuff for farmers specifically. So that's something to be excited about. But for now, just so you know, you are welcome to share that login with your team so they can log in together and you can work synergistically with each other. I think it's a great idea.
Here's a question. Do lifers get automatic VIP status?
Good question. So you get automatic lifetime status when you jump in with a lifetime account. You do not necessarily get automatic VIP status to all of our live sessions like we have here. And part of that is that even on live sessions like this, we can only answer so many questions. And so keeping those VIPs to those who pay for the VIP for that specific event, make sure that we are able to serve those people the best. If we just gave that to every single lifetime account member, hey, maybe it worked, but maybe it wouldn't. We could just really dilute that. And so we want to keep that as a special opportunity for those who actually pay for it. And it's just like a one-time event scenario. And I do want to clarify that that lifetime is specifically for the software. There are some people that get confused and it's like, I bought lifetime. That means I should get everything that you do into the future forever. Unfortunately, we can't necessarily offer everything that we do in the future for free to anyone who jumps in with a lifetime account. That lifetime account is specific to the software itself and all of the features that were listed there. So you may see a paid gardening course or something else that comes. We're not just trying to rip you off. It's just that we have other offerings that people may want or they may not want. And this offer specifically is for the software itself.
Yeah,
so
I think it's a
clarification.
It's a clarity on a different product. You know,
Correct.
you have the software as a product, and then you have education and training as another product, and there's a separation there. So that's how you can look at it.
Yep.
If my church's community garden group wants to join, can we do that? If there's like a community group, or it's like a church, or something like that, what's the best route for that church or community garden?
Yeah. So I would, connect with your other church members and make sure that it's a group decision to do it. I don't know what your funding is like. If you're interested in like purchasing a lifetime account, you absolutely can do that as a church group. You just want to make sure that someone knows, like, okay, is it the church that is owning it? Did the whole group buy it? Did everyone pitch in? Like, how is that ownership? What would you kind of delineated for that account? And then, 100%, you can use it as a church group. And what I would say is similar to the farmer who was asking us, can I share it with my team? Once you do that, you can share it within that group.
If they join the lifetime account, do they get all the future updates within the software?
Yes, all of the future updates that are listed on the screen here, weather, inventory, records, analytics, you would get unlimited access to all of those and unlimited updates to all of those as well. So it's not just like unlimited access when they first come out, but as we improve and are building out all of these things that you see on the screen here, you'll get unlimited level access to all of those. And I see a quick question here from Amber says, can I edit this for high intensity planting? Yes, in the layout, you can edit all of that plant spacing. If you missed it earlier, go back and watch the replay of this because you can edit all of those plant spacings as well.
Hey, I just brought this up because I love the heartbeat. It's Lisa here. Is there a way to gift the account?
First of all, Lisa, that is super, super kind of you. I love that, that you're thinking of someone else as well. And yes, you can. So what you would do is go ahead and purchase that account yourself, and then send us an email and say, hey, I want to gift this account to so-and-so, and we can change the name and email on that account so that it goes to that other person. That's probably the easiest way to do it. And then we can send the other person a link where they can reset their password or whatever to get set up with it. We'll work with you on it.
Very cool.
Melissa says she doesn't have access to the layout, and she's wondering what could she do to get access to the layout?
Yeah, so to get access to the layout, you'll want to upgrade your SeedTime account. The layout is one of the portions of SeedTime that is not available on the free level. Like we said before, and have said multiple times, there is a ton that is available on the free level, but the layout is one of those parts of SeedTime that's not. So go in and upgrade your SeedTime account. If not at one of the levels on the discount here, seedtime.us/join, you can go into your account and go to your profile, and you could upgrade just for a month. So the lowest amount there is $10. For just $10, you can get a month of access to SeedTime at a basic account level, and you have access to the layout. Yep. So it's a very easy way to just quickly jump in there at a lower level if that's helpful for you as well. 100%.
If they already have a lifetime account, how can they upgrade into the coaching?
Good question. Send us an email because that is not a public offer. We do have the ability to allow people in. It is a smaller group, and we keep it smaller. Again, it's kind of like that VIP thing. It's it's about keeping it where we can actually answer and serve people well and answer their questions. So send us an email if you are interested in that additional coaching segment of it, and we can get you help with that. Are we allowing info to anyone else, especially the government? This is a question that we get asked.
Good question.
So it's good to hit it up. We are a private company. We have no connections to the government whatsoever, and we do not sell, trade your information. It is private information. We try and keep that as private as possible for you. You can go to our website. You can view our privacy policy. It's all public there. And so you can see how we use your information. We try and be transparent because ultimately relationships are built on trust. And we hope and are working towards, we want to build a trust-filled relationship with you. That's part of why we do this challenge, why we do a lot of free training here, right? Because we want to build that relationship with you. And those relationships are built on trust, and trust is built on transparency. So go check out our privacy policy. We're not selling your information, sharing it to the government, all that kind of stuff.
Or to any private business.
Yeah. All right. Can you copy a layout to a different calendar? Doing a fall winter calendar with basic plants versus each individual variety. I want to keep some layout as my current calendar. Good question, Gloria. We do not currently have the ability to copy a layout from one calendar to another calendar. That is something that other users have asked about. So it's definitely on our radar. And we have a list about a mile high of all the things that we want to build into SeedTime. That being said, we want to hear your feedback. Because as you're using it, that's how we improve and that's how we prioritize. And the more people that ask for it, the higher priority it's going to get, right? So keep giving us that feedback. And I think it's a great idea. And I think it's something that very well may come in the future to be able to copy layouts from one calendar to another, maybe even sync them somehow. There's some cool stuff that we could probably do there.
I just want to highlight this. The reason you need to be discreet in the garden is because the corn has ears and the potatoes have eyes and the beans stalk.
Very fun. Very funny. Good. I'm finding my crops from the worksheet did not transfer over to my garden. Good question, Barbara. So this is a good point to note. The worksheet is simply a place to keep track. Right now, it does not sync with your gardening calendar. Like if you add the crop to your worksheet, it doesn't automatically get added to your calendar. It's an organizational tool to keep you on track. So you add the crops you want to grow in the worksheet, then you close the worksheet, you add them to the calendar one by one, and then you can click them off in the worksheet once they have been added to the calendar. Eventually, this worksheet is kind of, we want to hear your feedback on it as well, because it's one of these tools that we're like, okay, this is a first prototype version. Would this be worth it to build it directly into SeedTime so that you create your little crop list, and then with a click of a button, it adds them all to your calendar and that kind of stuff? Like, would you guys be interested in that?
Even to your layout.
Yeah. Whoa, that's blowing my mind. That would be pretty intense. So, let us know if you would be interested in that. If you see value in the worksheet that we have right now, and you say, yeah, that would be really awesome to have that integrated, that's going to be helpful for us as well as we build out the user experience of SeedTime, because we want it to be super easy. Our mission, our goal is very simple, and that is to make gardening and farming easier, right? And so everything that we do is kind of centered around that. We're going to make it easy for you to plan your garden. We're going to make it easy for you to keep track of your notes and observations in the garden. We're going to make it easy for you to keep on track of your task list, because it's right there, always in front of you. We're going to make it easy for you to create your layout and plan those succession plantings so you know when crops are coming in and out of your garden, when space is available. We're going to make it easy for you to connect with other members in the SeedTime community. We're going to make it easy for you to get your seeds and all of these feature releases to make it easy for records, easy for weather, easy for analytics, inventory, right? That's what our goal and focus is on.
So the word is easy.
Easy.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
If it's not easy for you, we want to hear from you so that we can figure out how to make it easy for you. So please talk to us, send us feedback, email us. Support guys are probably like, yeah.
Now we need to leave and check the inbox. There's
Yeah, for
40,000
sure.
emails.
All right, friends, we are getting up to the top of the hour. We wanted to stay on a little bit extra to answer some of those questions because I know a lot of people have those questions specifically. And when we have an offer like this, it's important to answer some of those questions so that you guys are not sitting in limbo. Like, wait, I don't understand it. We want you to fully understand what is being offered here. And we're excited. We would love to hold your hand through the process of growing and planting your winter garden with Seed Time and getting it into your layout and really just rocking the most amazing garden that you've had yet. And one of the steps to do that is to jump over to seedtime.us/join, grab your account, and we can't wait to see you on this other side. Otherwise, like Luke was saying earlier, tomorrow night, you're not going to want to miss it. We're going to talk about succession planting. We're going to take what we just did with adding these crops to your layout. And we're going to say, how can you, which crops would you do succession planting ones? Which ones would you not do? How would you add those succession plantings in? How would you track where it's growing and when the next one should come in to that place when the first one goes out, right? And this is really the key. The actual key to having that continual harvest in your garden that we've been talking about, harvesting something fresh, replacing the grocery store, is these succession plantings. And it turns your garden into not just an event, but a lifestyle where you're going out each week. You got something that you're going to do. You're marking it off in your task list. And each week you have something fresh coming in out of your garden and onto your table. And the goal is to make that easy for you. Yeah.
I want to highlight one more last thing. Hey, where can we send a donation? Hey, that's another super kind thing. Just support by voting with your dollars in the Seed Time store.
Yeah.
If you purchase seed through Seed Time, if you purchase any of the tools you need for your garden through Seed Time, that helps us.
Or Linnea, and another awesome thing is if I forget who it was, Pam or someone that was saying wanted to gift an account. That's an awesome way to donate because it's not just donating to Seed Time, but it's gifting to someone else. And we can work with you on that as well. 100%. All right, friends, I think we're going to call it a wrap for the night. Go grab your Seed Time account, seedtime.us/join. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Luke, Dad, is there any last words or anything that you want to add before we wrap up?
It's just fun to see how people are excited about this. It's fun to interact with Liz. She's been a supporter. Linnea. She's been a supporter for a long time. And we're
excited about you. We're excited about this community that is growing around Seed Time because it's not just a tool. It's not just a software. This is really a community that is building.
We're excited to see what you're doing.
Oh, wow. People are reminding us about
homework. We need homework.
How many people want homework? All right, so homework. We do have homework here. Thank you for the reminder. Go map out your garden area out. Grab your Seed Time account, map it out in Seed Time layout, or grab a pen and paper. Do it. Whatever way you need to do it or you want to do it. Go map your garden out. Then choose where each of those crops are going to grow. And kind of a bonus is how much to grow if you want to get to that granular level. Even if you have 2 raised beds, you still have to choose how much to grow because you have to choose how many broccolis are going to fit there, how many carrots are going to fit in there, right? So choose how much to grow, where they're going to grow, and then go live in the Facebook group and share your #1 takeaway from today's training. I'm so glad that someone reminded us about the homework because we were just going to completely skip over that. Awesome.
I think when I was going through school, that was my entire goal, was to distract the teacher so that the homework would not get given out. And then there was always that A+ student in the front learning T that was like, teacher, I want the homework. Definitely not me.
Elise has a nice idea of we should offer a winter holiday gift package.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I like it.
That people can gift a subscription to.
Yeah, that would be great. We should totally do that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all. We're going to wrap it up for tonight. Have a good night, everyone. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow night, coming up very soon, 7 p.m. tomorrow night, Succession Planting with John Dysinger. We'll see you there.
Or in the VIP session.
In the VIP, yeah,
Yeah.
ctime.us/VIP.
Come join us there.
Come join us there.
And
All
on
right.
that,
Good night.
keep growing.
Keep growing. Bye-bye.